Welcome back to yet another pod, the California Cowboy, back in the saddle with some juicy updates for you. Number one, tank talk. Last week, I shared that one of our fish was pregnant and just shooting out little fry. I think that we counted at least 10 of them. And I said, I hope that some of them survive, but not all, because I just can't handle 10 more fish in this tank. Unfortunately, some of those soldiers are gone. They did not make it. I found them in the little filter and in the bellies of some of the other fish. But there is one fish that survived. And I'd like to introduce you to Reba because she's a survivor. We found Reba and we were able to put her in the little isolation chamber within the tank so the other fish will not eat her. And we're hoping that she can grow to be happy and healthy and join her tank mates in the next few weeks when she's big enough to not fit in their mouths. She is very cute. She loves to eat. That's all I really know about her so far. Not a lot of personality. Don't know what color she's going to be. I'm assuming probably orange because her mama was orange. But very exciting nonetheless. We welcome Reba into the tank. Now, I said I would not speak of birding until it happened. And I decided to be lazy. And I found a little bit of a loophole in birding to where I actually don't have to leave my house to bird. I invested in a bird feeder. So this is my bird feeder. There are 6 holes for the little birdies to stick their beaks into and grab food, but it is designed so that squirrels cannot go in and snatch all their food. I'm putting it outside in our yard, and I'm hoping to attract all the little birds. I heard like 4 or 5 different calls the other day. So I think that our neighborhood is a pretty hot spot for all the birds. So we'll throw out this birdhouse, see how it goes. Maybe it's going to be the club. Be Club Penguin out there. All the party birds out there. Cardinals, Ravens. I'm just naming football teams at this point. But I'm excited to see if the birds are lured into my trap so that I can view them. Not harm them, just view them. Catalog and mark it off my list. And I think by doing this, it's going to get me excited and actually want to go outside to birdwatch because that's been the biggest issue. The biggest issue is I don't want to go outside and do it, number one. I know it's only going to be like an hour of my life, but it feels so dreadful. Number 2, being the biggest issue that I'm running into is that it has been raining like crazy down in Southern California. So birds are out, but they are hiding. I was on a run in the rain. Wouldn't recommend with the wrong shoes. My socks were totally wet. And I saw some ravens out and they were just getting rained on. And I was like, don't y'all fly south for the winter? But I feel like with the weather, maybe they're confusing global warming. They're confused when to fly south. I don't know. I don't even know if they actually do fly south. I know they migrate and whatnot. I should probably do more research. But nonetheless, it's been raining and that's why I have not birded. That is my excuse. It's not the real reason. I just haven't done it. But that's my excuse. So I'm bringing the birds to me, reinvigorating this passion, this resolution from the beginning of the year, and maybe we'll accomplish it in March. Those are the big outdoor updates. Now for indoor updates, Red Dead Redemption. I finished. If you haven't played and you're planning on playing, I'm going to spoil it so you can just skip on ahead. The last we left John Marsden, he had just reunited with his family and he's just farming. He was living his best life. And I said, I felt like something was going to go wrong. It was not what I thought. The government pulled up on him, attacked his farm and his family, and just ended him. I remember being in that moment and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of guys with weapons outside. I think that if I, dead eye shoot them, I might be able to take them. No. Obliterated. And I was just, my jaw was to the floor. I had to reach down, pick it up and just put it back because I did not expect the main character to be unalived. And then all of a sudden there's a fast forward and I'm John Marsden's son, Jack. Now, prior to this, when I was doing the missions with Jack, I was like, yo, this kid is kind of really annoying. Why is he whining all the time? Why is he mad all the time? Yeah, your dad's been gone, but he was doing it for you, kid. What are you doing? But then I became that kid. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this for my dad. And I'm going to go hunt down those men that hunted down my dad. And I'm going to get justice. I'm going to get that redemption. So I rode on. I accomplished every mission I could accomplish. And then I pulled up on the man who called the order on my dad. And he was just out fishing. He was shooting at the fish. Psycho. And it came down to a duel. and I popped probably my entire ammunition into this man, and the game ended. Story-wise, fantastic. If that's what happened in a movie, fantastic. I had a little bit of an expectation of having this grandiose battle, shooting it out for a while, but I understand why it ended that way. And I'm not mad at it. I'm just probably more upset that it ended. I wonder if that's how we are with shows sometimes. At least for me, I have to ask myself, am I upset with the way that this ended, or am I upset because this ended? And when I remove myself from the situation and I'm like, I'm okay, not upset because it ended. And then I look at it objectively, I'm like, oh, good ending. How I Met Your Mother. I know, hot take, real hot take. I liked the last season. Sorry. I think removing myself, going back to it, I was like, not too bad. I mean, the whole story is him and Robin, and you get bamboozled, and that's why you get upset. But if you look at it, it makes sense. I got off topic there for a minute, but Red Dead is in the books. Very pleased. I have purchased Red Dead 2 and intend on playing. And I have no idea what's going to happen. Rumor is that it's a prequel. I'm wondering if I'm going to be John again. I don't know. We'll find out. But I'm very excited because the game came out like several years later, so the graphics are even better. I was pleased with the graphics. But looking at some of the screenshots from the game, whew, it looks like a movie. I feel like I'm playing a movie. And so I am very excited. So Red Dead 2 updates as the story goes along for anything that dramatic that happens. Okay. Continuing down the path of entertainment, Avatar, The Last Airbender, live action came out on Netflix this last week. I think that we are 4 episodes deep. I believe there are 8 episodes total. And I was reading online what people thought about it. The funniest things are people are mad because they want to be mad, because they want to hate anything that's not the original. And this one person was like, yo, do you remember that movie that they made for us that was so bad? We should just be grateful that we have this at all. And I was like, hey, that is a good perspective going into this. So I watched it. I'm okay with it. It doesn't really make me feel anything. I feel like I'm watching it, but I don't think about it after. I just like, oh, I watched that. That's cool. It's not as compelling as the cartoon to this point, but I think perhaps these actors can all grow into their character a little bit. From a visual perspective, the casting, solid. Some of the acting, not my favorite, but at the same time, they are kids. Let them live. Some of the adults acting, though, now, that is another story. My favorite relationship portrayed so far is Zuko and Uncle Iroh. They're doing a great job with that, I feel. Just my opinion. Please don't be upset. A hot take that I do have. I did not grow up watching Avatar. I just watched Avatar last year for the first time. So I don't have the nostalgia aspect that other people do. I enjoyed it a lot, though. I feel like some of the complaints I saw online were that they were just jamming a bunch of episodes into one. For me, I feel like some of the first season of Avatar drags on. And then it picks up and it's fantastic, but it drags on. And the episodes that they smash together, I'm okay with. When they hang out in the Earth Kingdom, not my favorite time. I'm sorry. It's not. As far as pacing goes, great. As far as capturing the essence of Avatar, it feels a little bit lifeless. It feels like there's so much emphasis on making it look really pretty and look really good that the dialogue suffers a little bit and the story just doesn't feel as compelling for some reason. I can't really explain it. Like I said, I'm only 4 episodes in. The next 4 episodes could be so fantastic and I'm like, this is the best show of all time. Or they could be the worst and it could be the worst show of all time. I don't know. But 4 episodes in, that's my early take on Avatar, The Last Airbender on Netflix. I have a new segment for you. We love segments on here. We have one. Well, 2 kind of. New segment for you. Heating up. Because it feels like things are heating up for some music that might be coming out soon. J. Cole put out a YouTube video that is called Might Delete Later Volume 1. And it's extremely chaotic, but great and fun. And then there's a snippet of a song. And based on that snippet of a song, whew, I'm ready for this album. I've been ready for this album, but I feel like J. Cole is going to fulfill all the needs I have for this album. I am so excited. So it's heating up. Hopefully we get a single soon. If we do, let's pop on. Let's listen to it. Let's have a good time. But J. Cole heating up. The Weeknd. I love The Weeknd. If you don't know, love him. Love him. Heating up. This man keeps posting After Hours, Dawn FM, and then you swipe over and it's a question mark. Bro, you're making me really mad. I need some music. I need some art. I need some sense of direction. Give me one letter and just the color scheme of what this album is going to be. Allegedly, it is the last album under the moniker The Weeknd. I don't know if that's true, but could be. Could be. There's a lot of evidence that supports it. I'm excited to see how this saga comes to a close, how this trilogy comes to a close, and what it's going to lead into for the future. Things are heating up. I expect a single in the next month. So those are the things that are heating up that I saw. I'm not pursuing these things. If I see something that I feel like is heating up, awesome. I'll post it, talk about it. But that's what I feel like is heating up. J. Cole album, The Weeknd album. What more could I want? Cage the Elephant, Rainbow Kitten Surprise. Let's go. It's going to be a good year for music. Good year for music. And I said that from the beginning. I had a lot of anticipation for MGMT's new album, and I was going to make an entire video on it, but I literally could not find one song that I liked. So it's a pass for me. I don't want to make an entire video hating, but I was like, yo, what is going on? What is going on with this album? Not for me. Maybe for someone else. That made me a little bit sad. Also, another couple albums that made me really sad too was Kid Cudi's album. I don't know what I expected. We haven't had a good album from Kid Cudi in a really long time, but I was really disappointed by it. Like, I'm never going back to it after listening to it once. There was nothing for me. You may love it, and that's awesome. Just didn't connect with me. And then there's this artist, Yeet. I know that he was putting out some songs, and then he was featured on Drake's album, and then it kind of blew him up. Then he puts out, I want to say 20 plus tracks on an album, and they all sound like beats that you could just buy off a website where it's 5 for $10. And then he just sounds like he has a Travis Scott filter. I know I'm being a hater right now. I really wanted to like Yeet, but I feel like the hype is not matching the product. I'm getting 99-cent store fruit at Whole Foods prices. Okay, that's the end of my hate rant. Didn't really fully plan on going on a rant on those 3 albums, but hey, miss me with that. Not a fan. So let's get out of here before I throw too many of my opinions out into the world. Let's jump into our favorite segment, Discover Weekly Top 5. This week, my Discover Weekly was atrocious again. Spotify, what are we doing? Couldn't find one. There were a few songs where I was like, okay, this one's all right. But then I thought to myself, am I going to put my name behind the song as a rec? There's no replay value in some of these songs. I can't do it. So no top 5. But I refuse to leave you empty-handed. So I'm going to give you an album. I'm going to give you 12 songs. No skips. One of the most underrated hip-hop albums in my opinion, and that's Boz, Too High to Riot. If you don't know who Boz is, he's one of the first artists signed to Dreamville, J. Cole's label, and he's been featured on a lot of songs, and I just feel like this album in particular, Too High to Riot, is one of his best works. It doesn't feel like a collection of songs like I feel like most albums do. Most albums are just playlists nowadays. This feels like an actual album. It feels like it's saying something from top to bottom. Every song has enough going for it that it doesn't sound like the same thing over and over in it. There's a lot of range in there. I like a lot of the choices for the features on the album. They're so random, but they fit so well. I would highly recommend Too High to Riot by Boz. You Can Thank Me Later, the song with J. Cole, Night Job. That's probably the song you would know from there, but I would encourage you to check out the rest of the album. So I'm sorry that I didn't have a top 5, but I got 12 solid songs for you and maybe a new album that you love. So I think we're all caught up on everything, and it's been a great time. You're going to listen to Boz's album this week. I'm probably going to listen to it again because it's so good. So if you did make it to the end of the video, shout out to you. Thank you. All the gold stars are yours. And I will talk to you next week. I did get a haircut. Thank you so much for noticing. I appreciate you. Thank you.